We finally did it. A decisive game in Shamkir. 4th round. It only took 20 games to get one decisive game. Unbelievable. But okay, let's hope this tournament is out of the muck. Veselin Topalov with white against Shamkir Mamedyarov, the hometown favorite. Well, maybe, I'm not sure about hometown, but the local favorite, the #1 player from Azerbaijan, #2 player in the world. But he's facing Veselin Topalov, who has been quiet of late, but he's still a very strong player, and he has been, you know, displaying some qualities of old in this tournament. For those who don't remember, he was the FIDE World Champion for a while, and I think world #1 on rating at the time, and there was a period when he was just playing fantastic chess, tournament after tournament, racking up wins with very impressive chess, sacrificing exchanges and you know, pieces left and right. So let's see this game. This was not an entirely correct game, but it was finally an exciting one where I think both players wanted to win. We have the Ruy Lopez, bishop to b5, knight f6, castles, and, well, just like in the US Chess Championship, Shankland used the open Ruy Lopez to beat Ray Robson, and Mamedyarov goes to the open Ruy Lopez as well. And he has been playing this, yeah, for the majority of his career, I believe, every now and then. So d4, b5, just like in the Shankland game, we go down the main line, white regains the pawn, bishop e6, and Robson went with c3, but Topalov went with bishop to e3. Okay, we keep following theory, bishop to e7, c3, castles, knight b to d2, and apparently there was a game here where Mamedyarov with black played queen d7, but here he relatively quickly took on d2 and played knight a5. So yeah, playing quite confidently. He was well ahead on the clock here already. Bishop c2, knight c4, and this is all still known. Now queen d3. Okay, we have to address this threat. g6, and here I think Mamedyarov claimed that he was slightly surprised, thought bishop to c1 was the main move, but Topalov played bishop to h6 here. He was surprised because, well, this does offer up a pawn sacrifice, and Mamedyarov decided to go for it. He took on b2. The queen is attacked, it moves to e2, and now most likely the rook has to move. It's being attacked, but nonetheless Topalov thought that c5 would have been interesting here, sacrificing the exchange when black gets the bishop pair and a very nice pawn mass in the center. But Mamedyarov played rook e8. Now note that, okay, white can regain the pawn here by playing wow, okay, thank you. By playing bishop takes g6. Well, how do we take? I'm actually not too sure. Let's say it's a general rule. But here, okay, do we play c5 immediately or not? Either way, we have the bishop pair and we can play a move like c5 at some point. And black will have very strong pawns here. So this wasn't White's idea. He wanted to sacrifice the pawn and get an attack. So this is like old school Topalov, just throwing everything at black. But now bishop to d7. Okay, white is attacking. He sacked the pawn. He must throw everything at the king, right? f4. c5 by black. This knight can't be tolerated, you know, for too long. It's a very nicely placed knight, centralized. Knight to f3. And queen b6. Mamedyarov seems to have everything under control. But Topalov, he's going for it. Queen f2. And now d4. Pretty good idea. He wants to play a little bit against this bishop. And now in many lines the resource d3 will cut off the bishop. Note that taking on d4 is never a big option, because black always has bishop c5 at the end. So Topalov keeps on attacking bishop g5. He wants to exchange the dark squared bishops, I presume. First he plays queen h4. Okay, now we have a threat on e7. And now if you take on g5, I will take with a knight. And there are too few defenders here for black. You have to play h5, but then there's this as well. f5 is coming. Game over. So, after queen h4, Mamedyarov played c4 check. Bishop f8 would probably have been a good defensive move, but okay, c4 is understandable. Now he plays bishop f8. He wants to have knight d3 available in some lines to cut off the bishop. But here maybe white could have played bishop e4, but he played f5. Yeah, like I said, classic Topalov. I'm not sure the attack is correct or working, but he's just throwing everything at black here. f5, knight d3, and now e6. Just all in. Now, the first thing to notice is that if you take here, pawn takes g6. And this is very difficult, as this threat more or less decides the game. Queen h8 is coming with knight g5, and knight g5 is going to be the next move. I guess you could hope for something like bishop h6 takes, and if you're very lucky and white touches the rook, you can get on the front page of Reddit and reset the counter, but that's not going to happen. No, but this is lost. Black can't take on e6 with a pawn. So that's why here Mamedyarov, he took with a bishop. Okay, he's sacrificing a piece. If we count the pawns, 7 for black, 3 for white. That's 4 pawns for the piece. Topalov played rook a to d1, and I was a little bit puzzled as to why black didn't just play a move like rook d6, trying to hold down this pawn to this pawn. But he was quite happy with giving back 1 pawn, and yeah, probably the position is very balanced still. But yeah, from here things start to go a bit wrong for Mamedyarov. Maybe he should just get on with it on the queen side, play b4 here. Instead he plays rook to e4. And after this, the game could have been close to a draw. He played bishop e7. Another option here was to play the move h6, which would have most likely led to a draw. After rook takes c3, giving up the pawn, we have g5, winning back the piece. But white is getting all the pawns back, so after queen g6 we have actually equal material and a draw as the most likely result. So it seems like Mamedyarov was really going for it in this one. Bishop e7, queen g3. Okay, now finally b4. But now, yeah, knight g5, and you have to take on g5. Knight takes f7, and a discovery could be a problem. So bishop takes g5 and queen e6. Now still, this should be very close to equal, and I think again black should just get on with it on the queen side. a5, it moves you 1 move closer to being able to push the pawns when you have to. Queen e5 probably still okay, but from here things are starting to go a little bit south. And now the move h6 by Mamedyarov, which gives up another pawn. Again, I think you should just play a5 and get on with it. And given that after h6 he played rook e1, I'm wondering if he must have been afraid of some kind of bishop f6 when his king is caught on the back rank, and this will decide the game. If you play h5, then rook h8 is still mate, and this would mean that you would have to play rook e8, and your rook is quite passive. So perhaps Mamedyarov was afraid of something like this. Rook d7 is also an idea, but okay, after this he played this idea of rook e1. But now, okay, rook f6 attacking the pawn, rook defense, and comes back. And here, the next move is probably just a mistake. Maybe come back here, but after rook takes f2, he actually resigned here. Now, the resignation might be slightly premature, but it turns out that the pawns are going to be too weak, and white will simply pick them up. These pawns are not doing anything, and these will quickly become a target that white will pick up. For instance, if we trade rooks, that's very bad. We just take, play king e2. This is just to demonstrate that, okay, we are very quickly picking up these pawns. So rook e5 probably not the best move, but we're very soon going to attack these pawns. The king is very close, and yeah. Probably Mamedyarov was a bit too disgusted with the way this game ended up, so he resigned. Disappointing for Mamedyarov, but he did give it a good shot. But also kudos to Topalov, who has been playing probably the best chess out of the lot so far. Well, at least the most exciting chess. I mean, he almost won against Kiri. He gave it all against Ding Liren, and he really went for it in this one. It could have backfired, but you know, sometimes you have to take risks, and this time it worked. And okay, glad to see Topalov in good form, and well, this means we need an answer from Magnus. Are you going to show up? I hope he shows up, and we will have some games to cover. Hopefully, we'll see you then. Bye bye.